So again, I'm Rachel Keegan-Kelley, Director of Enrollment. I've been at School Year Abroad for many years, and I'm really pleased to be able to be here this evening and share with you some information about our financial aid program and our merit scholarship program. So we at SY recognize that, you know, a $60,000 tuition is a significant tuition, and that many families are looking for ways to supplement that tuition. And we have two programs basically, and one is our financial aid program, which is entirely need-based, and it is families must file an application for financial aid, which Alec will take you through. And if you have demonstrated need, we will meet 100% of that need. And that is in the form of grants, not loans, pure grants. Of course, we always have more people apply for financial aid than we're able to meet the need of. But if we are able to meet your grant you financial aid and admission to the program, we will meet 100% of your need. The second form of financial assistance that we have at SYA is in the form of merit scholarships. And there are several of those. They're listed on our website, but I'm going to take you through each one of those. They have different specifications, and some of them have some additional required pieces as part of the application process. And so we will take you through those. Some of those, one must apply for financial aid as well and demonstrate need. But several of those do not require a financial aid application, and you do not need to demonstrate financial need in order to qualify for them. So we're going to do that in the second part of the program. The first part of the program, I did want to introduce Alec Wall, our Associate Director of Admissions and Director of Financial Aid. He oversees the whole financial aid process and works with our business office to process the applications, evaluate awards, and works sort of individually with families. So as you're working through the process, and if you have questions, he's the person to reach out to, but he's going to take you through the application process. So Alec, it's all yours.
Thanks, Rachel, and hello, everyone. Before we discuss financial aid, I'd like to begin by reviewing what's included in the cost of tuition. So tuition covers the cost of 6 academic courses, school travel and meals and accommodations on school travel, co-curricular activities, and all meals and accommodation with a host family for the duration of the program. Every student also receives monthly passes for the public transportation system in each host city so that they can navigate to and from school, to and from their co-curricular activities, as well as on the weekends and during their free time. What isn't included in tuition? The largest expense not included in tuition is round trip airfare to and from the host country. And then some smaller expenses, including personal spending money and visa application fees, which range anywhere between $60 and $160, depending on the country. So now that you understand what tuition includes, let's talk about how to apply for financial aid. Complete instructions for applying for financial aid are available on our website. I'll summarize these instructions now, and I'm also going to share my screen, if you bear with me for a moment, and walk you through where to find that information and the individual steps for applying for financial aid. So pardon me just one second. So here you should all be able to see our financial aid webpage. To get here from the main page at sya.org, you can simply navigate to admissions, tuition and aid, and then to financial aid. You'll notice on this page as well, if you click the scholarships button, this will take you through are merit-based scholarships, which Rachel will cover in the next portion of the program. So clicking on the financial aid button brings you to step-by-step instructions to apply for financial aid. There are 3 steps, the most important of which is following this link right here to navigate to the School and Student Services website. This is a third-party partner that we use to determine your financial aid award. If you already receive financial aid from an independent school in the US, it's pretty likely that you may already have an SSS account. If that's the case, you can simply log into your existing account over here and just put in our full school name, that's school year abroad, as well as our school code, which is given on the financial aid FAQ page. I believe it's 7216. If you haven't applied for financial aid before, you simply go over here and create a new account, and this will prompt you with instructions for completing the first step, which is filling out the parent's financial statement. So the parent's financial statement will ask you a series of questions, primarily about your assets and liabilities. It goes much beyond just pure income in terms of calculating financial aid. The second step then that we ask you to complete is submitting through SSS your 2020 tax returns. Now, we understand that our application and financial aid deadline is February 12th, and that many families may not have prepared their 2020 tax returns by that time. That's perfectly fine. You can submit last year's, your 2019 tax return and your current W-2. And then if that's the case, we need you to complete the third step, which is filling out and mailing to our home office IRS form 4506T. That simply allows us to request a copy of your tax return from the IRS if we need to do that. Lastly, the most important thing is to remember to complete all of those steps by the application and financial aid deadline of February 12th if you would like to be considered for aid.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alec. Again, many of you, if you are receiving financial aid in your current school, it's very probable that you use SSS. There are several other financial aid application programs out there, and some independent schools use different ones. But SSS is probably the most prevalent solution, and the application fee is $55 to apply if you have not used it before. You can apply to multiple schools, but if you're applying for financial aid at SYA, it does cost $55, just to give you a sense of that. And I think, you know, we have many families who do apply for aid. The formulas that they use, they take a percentage of your assets, percentage of your income, and they give us a number, and it tells us what you're able to contribute. How many kids you have in tuition charging schools is a big factor. And it gives us a number of the amount of disposable income you can contribute towards your child's education. And then that's sort of divided by how many kids you have in tuition charging schools. And we use that as a guideline, a pretty good guideline for helping to determine what a grant would be, what a family's demonstrated need is, and then what a grant would be. We also have about almost half of our students are on some form of financial aid. And again, those are all in the form of grants, not loans. So we're really pleased that we're able to give access to this great experience to as many kids as we are able to. It's great. So merit scholarships, we have several merit scholarships opportunities, and they range from quite large grants to quite small grants. And again, they are listed on the website, but I did want to talk through them with you. And then at the end of this, we are happy to take questions. So if you want to put questions in the Q&A box, we will monitor that at the end, and either Alec or I will answer your questions. So the merit scholarships. The first one is our largest, most popular merit scholarship, and that's the Halsey Scholarship. It's an endowed fund named after our former president, Woodruff Halsey, who ran SYA for decades. And it is an endowed scholarship, and it funds a full tuition for a student, including airfare. It's a competitive scholarship. We only have one of them. We have many students who apply, and there are some additional pieces that are required. The Halsey Scholarship does recognize students who demonstrate exceptional academic ability. You must apply for financial aid and be financially needy, and demonstrate need, and demonstrate a substantial interest in global study, understanding cultural differences, and developing language proficiency. Again, it's our most significant merit scholarship. When after you apply for it, there are finalists, and there's an interview process for a number of finalists, and then we select a winner. The second sort of significant merit scholarship that also does require a family to demonstrate financial need are Alvarez Global Scholars, and we have two of those actually. Those are grants anywhere from 50 to 100% of tuition. And they, again, will meet your demonstrated need and often exceed it if you are selected as an Alvarez Global Scholar. These are also given to outstanding academic students applying for our year-long program. And you need to come from a public school. That's the criteria for that one. We're always eager to have as great diversity in our student body. And one of the diversity factors that we look at are students coming from all sorts of different types of schools, and public schools are really important. We were founded by independent schools, but we want to make sure that we have good representation. The next three scholarships are do not require an application for financial aid, and therefore do not require a family to demonstrate any need. And the first one is our merit scholarship, and that's a general merit scholarship. It's in the amount of $25,000 if you apply for the year and you're going for the year. Semester students do qualify for that merit scholarship, but it will be half, so it would be $12,500. And we do require one additional recommendation as part of the application process for that. And you'll see when you go into our online application, if you are interested in being an applicant for the Merit Scholarship Program, you need to indicate that in your application so that we know to look for that additional recommendation that really speaks to something outside of your academic classes, someone who kind of knows you, the whole person. But that's the only additional piece of information you need to submit in order to be considered for a merit scholarship. So you need to indicate that you're applying and get us the additional recommendation. You do not need to apply for financial aid for that. The second scholarship that falls in this category are legacy scholarships. And those are scholarships that are given out to either siblings or children of alumni of SYA. It's a grant of about $10,000. And again, you do not need to do anything. You don't need to submit any additional information or indicate that. We know that you've told us that you're a sibling or a child of an alum, and we will take that under consideration when we're distributing those scholarships. The final merit scholarship is what we call our 1964 scholarships. And those are awarded to a limited number of students. They do vary in amount. They can be anywhere from sort of a couple $1,000s up to $15,000. There are no additional application materials required to do that. There's no need to do that, but we do provide, again, some of our more outstanding students with some of those merit scholarships. And you are notified of those if you're a recipient of those at the time of acceptance. All of these scholarships are you are notified at the time of acceptance, and they are reflected in the enrollment contract that you receive at the time of your admissions decision. So you will see that. So those are the merit scholarships. Again, we're very fortunate to have these available for our families, in addition to a very robust financial aid program, over $2 million that we're able to distribute to families. Again, acknowledging that a $60,000 tuition is significant. So we're very pleased to be able to offer this kind of support to provide access to our program. I'm going to turn it back over to Alec, and he's just going to go through a few more things around the process and the timing around financial aid. And then we will turn to, we've got a couple of questions coming in the Q&A box, and we will turn to those. Alec?
Yeah, so before the Q&A, just a couple important things that we want to underscore. That financial aid application deadline is Friday, February 12th. I also want to encourage everyone, if you have any questions about financial aid, please, please, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email address is relatively easy to remember. It's awall, W-A-L-L, @sya.org. I'll also drop that in the Q&A here momentarily. We also want to let you know a little bit about when you'll receive notification of your financial aid award and your admissions decision. So for our non-member school students, that's most of our students, about 60% of our student body, your financial aid award will accompany your offer of admission, which will come out sometime late in the first week of March, provided that you submit your application by the deadline. If you attend an SYA member school, it can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks after admissions decisions are released for you to receive your award, as we work through or work with each of our member schools to determine your aid package. So that's just something that's important to keep in mind, that can take a little bit of extra time. And with that, let's.
That's super helpful. Thanks, Alec. So we've got a couple questions here. One question is, what if the income represented on the tax return does not represent secure, stable income? And is there a space to elaborate on particular circumstances? Yes, there is. At the end of the SSS application, there's a big, huge box where you can outline your circumstances. You can also write to us separately, but there is right in the application an opportunity to describe that. And we certainly understand, given the circumstances around people's lives right now, that there are a lot of things that are unstable. So we understand that, and we want, again, it's very important for us, if we're able to award a grant to a family, that we're able to meet your demonstrated need. So there is an opportunity to do that. The next question is, if a student's applying for the Halsey Scholarship, may they also apply for the merit-based scholarship? Absolutely. Almost everyone does. So very, very common, and you absolutely can do that. We talked about the admissions timeline. Is admissions decisions need blind? It is not. Unfortunately, we are not. While we are very proud of our generous financial aid program, it is not need blind, unfortunately. So the way it works, if a student is, if we're not able to meet your financial need, but you are admissible, we will place you on a wait list for admission and financial aid. And if the financial aid then becomes available, because not all the families that we give awards to actually take them, and money, financial aid is returned to us, and we're able to go to our wait list, we will go to our wait list for admission and financial aid both, and be in touch with you, so that we will not offer admission to a family without being able to give them the grant that they need to make it affordable. Some institutions may offer an admission and say, we don't have, even though we understand that you qualify for financial aid, we're not able to meet your need. We do not do that. We offer admission to those that we're able to provide financial aid for if they qualify. Let's see, other questions.
Couple
here.
more questions.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity to negotiate financial aid after the offer is made if the family truly believes it cannot fully pay the amount? Alec, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. We do our absolute best to meet 100% of a family's demonstrated need per the SSS calculations. That being said, we understand that that's not always an exact science. If you truly feel that you cannot pay the amount we've asked after we've made an award, there is an appeals process. I won't get into too much detail about that process here. If you're curious, on the financial aid instruction webpage that I shared with everyone earlier, there are a set of FAQs at the bottom, one of which details the appeals process. The basics of it would be simply contacting me and providing some sort of documentation or reason why you feel you cannot pay the amount asked.
Yeah, there is that process, absolutely. Thank you. Final question. If you're a student at a member school and have a partial financial aid for that school, is there a way for you to receive a scholarship along with the financial aid? Yes, there is. If you're interested in applying for a merit scholarship, you just need to indicate that in your application process and have the additional recommendation submitted. So you would be considered for one of our merit scholarships. The other ones, like I said, outside of the Halsey, do not require additional application pieces. But in terms of the merit scholarship, yes, you may absolutely be considered for that if you indicate that you're applying for it. Any other questions? Give it just a second. Really appreciate everyone making time to come out for this. And Alec is available and around and happy to answer questions for people if they need help sort of understanding the SSS formulas or filling out the application. But it is a pretty straightforward. Leave a little bit of time, I'll be honest. It's a fairly lengthy application and does ask a lot of questions. So make sure that you, like I said, leave yourself some time to get it done. Let's see. And I think one more. You can email us with other questions. Absolutely. Just this last question here. Email us anytime. We're absolutely.
Sorry, I believe I threw my email in, but it may have just answered
Here's one.
that previous question, but I'll throw it in again. Please email us with financial aid questions or certainly any other questions.
So there's a question here. The tuition for the semester abroad for Italy is $8,800. So the tuition actually is not $8,800 for Italy. The semester tuition, our tuitions will be set for the following year. Our tuitions will be set in February. Our tuitions for this year were $59,900 for the year and just over $30,000 for the semester.
$32,900 for the semester to be exact. $8,800. The $8,800 figure that's referred to in this question is actually the summer tuition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Thanks for the clarification, Alex. So all of these scholarships and the financial aid program is for our year-long programs, and those are semester and full year. We do have summer programs, as you can see on the website. We have very limited financial aid available for those. Our grants for the financial aid for our summer programs do not exceed more than 50% of the tuition. So if a family does qualify for aid, the largest grant one would receive for a summer tuition would be $4,400. Thanks for that clarification, Alec. So I think that wraps up our program this evening. Again, really pleased that you all made the time to come out. I'm happy to be able to introduce our faces to you. Unfortunately, we don't get to see your faces, but you know who we are, and we're here to help you work through the process. So please reach out to us, and we look forward to reading your child's application and being in touch throughout this process. It's just starting to get to be the busy season. Christmas holidays tend to be a pretty popular time to work on applications, and we get really excited about being able to read them in the month of January and February as we prepare to send our decisions out the first week of March. So
we did have one more question come in under the wire. So before we sign off, we have someone asking, who can a student go to for their additional recommendation for the merit scholarship? And for that, I would say it can be another teacher, although we're mindful that you're certainly already asking for 3 teacher recommendations. This could come from a coach, an advisor, someone other than the student's academic advisor who's already providing an advisor recommendation, a close family friend, anyone who knows the student and can speak to their qualifications for the scholarship.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that question. It was a good one. Thank you all again for joining us this evening. We look forward to working with you through the process, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to receiving your questions. Good night.
Good night.